Hey guys, you are listening to We Got Something to Say. I'm your co-host Jay.
This is Jameson.
And this is Poppy. And guess what?
We
We
got
got
something
something
to
to say.
say.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, you are listening to another taping of We Got Something to Say. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about another battle for the culture, guys. So just recently we had the battle with Teddy Riley and Babyface. Before that, we had the battle with the songwriters. It was Neo, and I believe his name is Johnson Austin. We just had a couple of different battles I have. We had Swiss and Swiss Beats and Timbaland, and guess who's up? The lady said, guess who's up? I believe that's me. Grab the mic for the symphony. So next up is the battle for the culture. ERYKAH BADU versus Jill Scott, May 9th at 7 p.m.
Ooh,
You're getting in the way of our feelings. You're getting in the way of our feelings. We had to preemptively discuss the battle before the battle. Just how we feel. Jill and we got ERYKAH, and they both been out for almost 20 years. If you don't know, they come from the neo soul era, the backpack era, so to speak. And back then you had Jill, and you had ERYKAH, and you had ERYKAH, and Lauryn Hill came off that. You had a lot of people that came from that neo soul movement. And it's been 20 years, and these sisters are still touring. People are still loving them. And Jill Scott still bringing out album after album. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you feel about just the battle culture, or just, not that it's so much of a battle anymore, but just, two women or two men, and just really just bringing their catalog to the community in this social distance situation. But you can definitely talk about Jill or ERYKAH specifically. I'm gonna give it to you, Poppy. You tell me what you're thinking.
I think that stuff like this is fun. I think as long as it's not taken too seriously, it builds community, and people like to see some type of friendly competition between two of their favorite artists. I like both artists. I think they are both extremely talented. Are we picking who we gonna think win, or?
Well, you could just say who you are, who's most fondest to your heart. So Jill said, we're celebrating the times, the rhymes, the pains, the gains, the brains, and the 20-year plus range. Look at that. She's a poet, man.
Yeah, she really is.
And I'm Team 215 Philly, so I'll talk a little bit, but you tell me who you like. Who have you liked? You might say you like one more than the other, or you just talk about them in general. Who's closest to your heart, just as a fan?
I'm gonna give it to Jill.
You give it to Jill. Dilly from Philly. Dilly from
Philly. You got my heart, Jill.
Aww.
All right, well, Jay, what you thinking? Jill, he said Dilly from Philly, 23rd in Lehigh, 23rd in Indiana. He said, take my earrings off, give me some Vaseline. That was giving away video.
I love them both as artists. I was gonna say, to your question about battle culture, I love it. I was tuned in for the Teddy Riley and Babyface competition, and the second time. I was kind of tuned in for the first one too, but that's a whole nother topic. But and it takes you back. They take you on these journeys. It's just musical journeys that it brings you back to whatever you were doing at the time. And so Jilly from Philly and ERYKAH, that was when I was younger, and there was, like she says, 20 years. It's a huge span of my life, and I had the whole romance thing and whatever. You're just always brought back to these different moments. So I'm looking forward to that. And I went through a lot with these ladies. So this is really a tough call for me. I mean, I remember when ERYKAH's first album came out, and Next Lifetime. Baduism, yes. And Next Lifetime, and it was so deep, and you know, it's just a sexy vibe. So I am so looking forward to that, just going through that, like, oh my God, let me get, and then everyone, and I remember my 5-year-old was just looking at me like, at all these songs that were coming on during the Teddy Riley Babyface battle, he was like, oh God, because every song, I was like, oh, yes, what do you know about this? You don't know nothing about this. And he was just like, oh God. So I'm looking forward to having that time with these ladies. I can't call it. It's too tight for me. It's too tight.
Got you. We're going to go down memory lane. I mean, Baduism, like you said, on and on was just like, it was just something that wasn't out there. Doing that jazz, you know, playing around with that Billie Holiday sound, it was just, it just wasn't out there. And for that to come out of nowhere, and then she was actually dressed in all like African garb, and she was actually singing with the jazz band behind her. You know, that was epic, and it rose to stardom really quick. She rose to stardom really quickly. It was just fly. And then, you know, everybody, it seemed like I wasn't. It seemed like everybody was smoking weed. I'm a drinker myself. Everybody had their weed, listening to their Badu album from beginning to end, Next Lifetime. Just a lot of good vibes there. And then she did a live album right after that, and she told these brothers, you know, you better call Tyrone. You know, and then, you know, Mama's Gun came out with Bag Lady, you know, and she just was on. And then I kept moving with her when she had the New America Part 1 and Part 2, and it was just a vibe. Back in the days with Worldwide Underground, like, she was just doing her thing. And, you know, she loved her some Shaka Khan. Her remake of Stay by Shaka Khan was crazy. You know, ERYKAH, and then she also continued to progress. Like, you start seeing her doing DJing and all types of other stuff. So she kept continuing her craft. Of course, she acted as well. You know, and then she started to be, she was one of the hosts for one of the BET Awards. I can't remember which one, but she does it, you know, often, and the ciphers in there and all that. So it'll be very interesting. Soul Train it might be. I think it might be Soul Train. But, you know, she just kept in her trajectory, you know, her kids. I mean, you can't forget that she got a baby with Andre, you know, 3000. You got the two biggest, you know, names at the time having a baby. So, you know, she stamped herself in R&B history. I mean, you got Jill. Who was Jill Scott? Sound and Words. You know, that came out in 2000. So 3 years right after ERYKAH, you know, Jill came out. But little did people know, Jill was creating, you know what I mean? She was acting. She was on a tour doing Rent, and she was working with the Roots at the same time that ERYKAH was working. But ERYKAH came out, you know, right before her. She was right behind her, you know, and people don't know that that song, If You Don't Know Where I've Been, that's actually Jill who wrote it. But she wasn't big enough for ERYKAH sung it. But I think they're going to wind up playing both versions.
Interesting.
Doing this. Yeah. And then Beautifully Human, you know, Living My Life Like It's Golden became an anthem. Of course, in Words and Sounds, you had Getting in the Way. You had Lizelle in E flat. You Love Me? Are you serious?
Oh, that was a joint. That was just such a beautiful. That was a beautiful song. Like, it was just, ooh, like you wanted somebody. Yes.
Lone Walk. Yeah. That was the era of just smoking weed and listening to music for a lot of folks. And then she kept going. She came out with other albums, The Light of the Sun, The Real Thing, Woman. And then, of course, Jill had a live album as well. And, of course, she became an actress. You know, she did the Tyler Perry movies. Everybody remember when her man kicked her off the plane because she had to sit in 2 seats and they ain't have room for 2 seats. Y'all don't remember that? So she had to catch another flight.
Yeah.
The Tyler Perry
movie.
That was awful.
What is going on?
And she had the detective series on HBO that was pretty good. I loved it.
Really good.
I love her acting.
Yeah.
They said supposedly the producers in Africa, one of them passed away or something, and that's the reason why they killed that. So, you know,
wow.
You know, you got Jill as an actress and a poet and a writer and a singer, and you got ERYKAH as a singer and a writer, and you know, the little rapper. You know, they both rap, and their harmonies, their vocals are great. So, you know, for the culture, that's all I'm gonna say. I love them both, but if I had to choose, they're very, very close. But if I had to choose, I would probably say that I listen to Jill Scott's music much more consistently from right now all the way back then than I have continued to listen to ERYKAH. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Jimmy and Philly. But for the rest of you guys, you listen for the battle. You put your comments in, who you think's going to win and why. You know, what was going on in your life when these different albums was coming out, and have you ever gone to some of the concerts, the feelings there, all that good stuff. But this is us. We got something to say. We'll see you next time.